And I'm speaking here with Ellen Crenshaw and Colleen Venable, and they're at Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle. We've got Kiss number 8 by First Second, and I want to talk with both of you guys. So I have to pick. Let's start with Colleen. Colleen, could you tell us a little bit about this book? I read it, completed it last night. It's about family. It's about coming of age. It's about just self-discovery, sexual identity. What could you tell somebody new to this book?
The easiest way I could say it is it's set in 2004, and it's a queer coming of age about a girl in a very religious family in a very conservative community. And kind of, I like to say too, it's a love octagon where everybody likes the wrong person and everyone makes bad decisions. Like, I don't think there's a single character in the book that doesn't make a really bad decision at some point. So it's just a book that explores gender identity in all different ways, and hopefully teens will find it and it'll connect with them, and they'll send me emails and then I'll cry. It's basically happened a couple times already. I've cried like every day since this book has been in like they had an ARC out, like an advanced reader copy, and I think for a month now I've been crying every day. So it's been an amazing experience. So.
Well, thank you. And Ellen, talk to us about the art side. You are in control of all the artwork. You are the cartoonist. Tell us about that side of it.
Well, first, Colleen sent over a script, or First Second did. I had to do a test before I was chosen to be the artist for this book, and luckily I was accepted. Apparently they were looking for a combination of sincerity and humor in the artwork, because that is Kiss number 8 to a T, and I guess I was good for that, so it was very exciting. The way I go about my artwork is I begin in Photoshop. I sketch it all out in Photoshop in Blue Line, and I print it out onto watercolor paper. And from there I use brush and ink by hand, and inked all the lines and all the tones with that ink, scan it back in, rework it in Photoshop, and send it off to First Second. And within that process, there are some revisions. Colleen was very helpful in helping me achieve her vision and making sure that the characters were the way that they ought to be, and moments settled the way that they ought to, instruct the reader the way that they ought to. Things were given enough space to, let moments settle. And it was a really great collaborative process.
Okay, well, thank you. And I guess one last closing remark, Colleen. What do you hope readers will take from your book? And Ellen's book?
I guess that it's okay to make mistakes, and that the most important thing is being true to yourself, and it gets better. I guess it gets better is just always a theme in this world.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, since it is a period piece set in 2004, I think it's great for teens now to see how far we've come in 15 years, and to realize that 15 years from now, we're going to be even closer to having more knowledge about just kind of people being able to be themselves without having to answer to everybody. And a lot of people have kind of especially I'm in New York City, and some people are like, oh, it's so easy to come out nowadays, and I was like, oh, please travel 2 hours upstate, because first of all, it's Trump country, they have southern accents, I don't understand it, and it's not easy there, and it's not easy in the South, and a lot of countries it's really not easy. So I think everybody's in their own bubble, and everybody's paying attention to their own Facebook groups, and they're not realizing that it's still a really big issue. We are so far away from equality in 1,000 ways, ways not addressed in this book too. And it's just a nice thing to realize that it does get better. So.
Okay. Well, thanks to both of you. Thank you so much.